What is up, guys? Stealthmaster here, and I guess by the gameplay you can tell I am playing Shogun 2 Flawless Samurai once again. That's right, I'm back into Total War. Basically what happened was I'm in a struggle, not a struggle, a battle between console game and a computer game. You know, I love Xbox and all. Basically I was with console pretty much my whole life. From the age of around 4, I was playing PlayStation 1 and so on, from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, and then from that to GameCube, to DS, to PSP, and now Xbox. And, you know, it's a struggle. Like, computer games, you know, it's a lot better. You can mod your games and everything like that, and you can control them and all that, like, a lot better than you can do it on a console. But, see, I've been in a battle with that, going back and forth, maybe playing a computer for a month, and then maybe playing Xbox for another month or two. But now I'm back on computer, and I have a new channel and all, so I'm going to be putting this up. This is episode number 1. I started a new campaign. I'm playing as not the Saga anymore. I'm playing as the, what is it called? Satsuma. That's what it's called, Satsuma. As the Satsuma faction, as you can see from there on the screen. I'm now the blue flag and all. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. This is going to be episode 1, and basically it's the Christmas vacation for 2012. It's soon going to be 2013, and for this whole week I guess that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be doing Total War gameplay, and basically what I'm going to be doing with that is story time. I know I hate listening to people talk about the battle unless, you know, they're giving like tips on, like, strategic tips on like where to position your men and stuff like that. And since I'm not too good at that, which you're about to find out, right now I'm about to like almost get destroyed, but somehow I win the battle. I don't know how. I was outnumbered. It said I was going to lose, but somehow I won, and I didn't lose any regiments. I lost a lot of men, but I didn't lose any regiments. No, I didn't lose any. So that's a surprise. But basically, instead of talking about the game, I'm going to be doing story time, telling stories about me going on hunting vacations and stuff like that. They're going to range from the age of around 12 up until now. I'm 16, so I've been hunting for about 4 years, you know, a good 4 years. And it all starts from my first hunt with my dad and getting my first buck, and up to today. I just went on my first pheasant hunt with a shotgun, so that was a very interesting story. So yeah, I have over 4 years of stories. There's some sad stories, there's some funny stories, there's some exciting stories. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on to the first story. How I started hunting. I live in New York, so the legal hunting age here for big game is 14. So at the age of 12, I could go in the woods, like I had my license, but only for small game. Small game, it means like rabbit, squirrel, pheasant and all that. Big game is bear and deer and mountain lions. Yeah, well, I don't think you could shoot a mountain lion. I'm not going to see any in New York. But anywho, that's big game. I only had a small game license, so my dad brought me in the woods to like see if I would enjoy it and stuff. So we went, got my license. Small game isn't as much as large game, or big game. So, you know, probably $12. So I went in the woods, and you know, the first year I went hunting, it was freezing out. And when I say freezing, I mean it was freezing out. Basically, you know, my first time hunting, I had no hunting clothes. My dad wasn't gonna go out and buy me like $1,000 hunting clothes. I mean, if you want to buy a jacket and pants, it's gonna run you up at least $800. So my dad wasn't gonna do that. I mean, like, what was he gonna do? Waste $800? And what happens if I didn't like hunting? And then what would the hunting clothes do? Because you can't just wear them normally, because they're like actually hunting clothes. They have like scent lock and everything like that. Like, they're specifically designed for hunting. So anywho, I go in there in like snow clothes. Because, you know, I live in New York and it snows a lot, so I'm in there in snow clothes. The first thing is, you know, snow clothes are very loud. Like, every time you move, they make noise. Hunting clothes are designed so that when you move, they don't make noise. Because deer have very sensitive ears and noses, so they can smell you and they can hear you. So that's another thing hunting clothes do. They keep your scent in. It's something called scent lock. And, you know, luckily for me, I did see deer without even wearing hunting clothes. And the reason for that is because my first time in the woods, we sat in a blind. We usually sit in tree stands, which are like things up in the trees that you sit in. stands up in the trees that you sit in. But this one was pretty much just like a little like a little fort on the ground, like in the middle of a field. So I sat there with my dad, and you know, 5 minutes into the hunt, I passed out cold, because once again it was like 4:30 in the morning, and my dad woke me up to go sit in the woods, and it's pitch black and everything. So I just passed out. So that's like around maybe 4:50 we get in the woods, and so then I fall asleep. I wake up around 6:30, and when I wake up, my dad's like looking out the window of the little fort, looking at you know, a group of deer, a group of doe. And if you didn't know, doe are female and bucks are males. So basically, you know, my first time seeing deer and stuff like that, and I'm all excited, and I'm like, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it. And my dad doesn't want to shoot it, he wants me to shoot it. And I'm like, what? So he gives me the gun, and, you know, my first time hunting, and my dad, he hadn't hunted in at least maybe 5 years or more. So he didn't have any scopes or anything on his guns. He probably gave them to his brothers and stuff like that, or maybe even sold them. So I'm shooting a 30-30 with no scope, so just an iron sight, and the deer's like at least 50 or 60 yards away, and I just could not take the shot. You know, one, I was worried I could not take the shot. I figured I was going to miss, and I was going to disappoint everybody, because I remember, you know, maybe the day before my uncle went on hunting, and he missed a deer, and he came back, and he was pissed off at himself. Everybody was like, how could you do that? How could you miss? You've been hunting for this many years. Then again, it was my first year, so would people be mad? But I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, you know, all this is going through your head on like a split second. I did have the deer in my like the crosshairs of the iron sight, so you know, it was also facing the road, and all this is running through my head. What happens if I miss? What happens if a car is driving by and I miss the deer and the bullet goes and shoots somebody in a car? So all this is rolling through my head, and I wind up just putting the gun down. I'm like, Dad, I don't want to do this. I'm not too sure about this and all that. And so yeah, I wound up just putting the gun down, and I was scared shitless. So yeah, so that was actually my first hunt with my dad. The next day we wound up not seeing anything. The next day we saw a little a doe and its fawn, and my dad didn't want to take a shot at that, even though it was like maybe 10 yards away from us, because I mean, it's a mom and the baby right there. And right here, this is where I like kind of turn the battle around, kind of getting into the game right now. Basically, if I would have never called in that naval bombardment, I probably would have lost this battle right here. But anywho, as the battle rages on, basically, yeah, the first day we saw at least maybe 6 deer. We should have shot. We should have got one. We didn't. Second day we saw nothing. Third day we saw a mom and its baby. So we didn't want to take a life that day. So that was it for that hunting season. We wound up going back home, and that was it. The next hunting season, we pretty much saw nothing, and that was when I was 13, and I still didn't have a big game license. Then come the third hunting season, my third hunting season, I was finally 14. I got my big game license, and on the license it said I could shoot a 4 turkey, I could shoot a black bear, and I can shoot a buck, and I can shoot a doe. So I was like really excited, this and that, and I wound up going in, and well, that's another story. I'll save that for the next video, which is coming out very soon, episode number 2 of Storytime. But I'm just gonna tell you, you know, it was really exciting. There was a lot of action, and I sat in a different place. Let's get a little bit into the scenery at my upstate house. Basically, 3 of my uncles and one of their friends all chipped in, and they bought around 300 acres of land. That comes with a house and 100 acres. And then you drive down the road a little bit, maybe like 20 minutes, and you come down to another 100 acres. So that makes 200 right there. And then you drive down to maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from our house, and you come to like a 50 acres, about, you know, give or take. Maybe there's like 75 or 50. I really don't know the exact number, but that's where I got my first buck, and that's gonna be the next story time about that 50 acres. But that's the land spread out. So you have the house with the 100 acres, then about 20 minutes away you got the other 100 acres, and about 30 minutes away you got 50 acres. And on every single land there's all different tree stands, all different blinds and everything like that. My first hunt, it was right like maybe a 5-minute walk from the house. So we walked down from the house into the field, and we just sat in a little blind. It's pretty much just like a little tent set up with windows and everything like that, so you can see the deer and everything running around. But that was pretty much it for that. So my first hunt, I kind of slept half of it. What did I say? Fell asleep from 4:30 to 6. So yeah, after that we wound up getting out of the woods at like 8:30. So I slept for about more than half the hunt, and then you know the intense part of the hunt was just watching deer because I didn't want to shoot any. And my dad didn't want to shoot any because he was waiting for a buck to come out. Basically, if you leave the doe in the field for a long time, the bucks will come out because the bucks are smart. They don't just run out first. They let the doe go out there, and if the doe don't sense any danger or anything like that, the bucks will come out with them. See, the bucks played smart. I just said ducks. The bucks played smart. They used the does to their advantage. They used them as like pretty much bodyguards. So if you were wondering why my dad didn't shoot after I said I didn't want to shoot, maybe you were figuring like why didn't he take the gun and shoot it himself? That's the reason why. He was waiting for a buck to come out, and it never did. And eventually, all the does just went away. Like went back into the woods and stuff like that, and we wound up just going home and eating breakfast. And the afternoon hunt was pretty much the same thing, except we didn't see anything. We sat in the same place but saw nothing. So yeah, that's it for story time number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, and stay tuned for story time number 2 coming out in a little while. Peace, guys.